I will say that Bernie Sanders gave a
You guys are crazy!
You're an animal! Get a job!
Chairman, I think it's insane that the lady doesn't have an argument, but she's going to refer to me and some of my colleagues.
Mr. Donald.
We were from the Third Reich. This is insane. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. Do I look like a member of the Third Reich to you, Ms. Tlaib? Is that what I look like to you?
You're the one taking your voting card.
Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Is that what you think?
No, that's unethical.
I think it's radical and I think it's insane. And I'll respect everything that you say. But to say something like that to myself and all of my colleagues is way out of line. It's way out of line. It's way out of line.
Regular order, Mr.
Way out of line.
Hey folks, welcome back to America Patriots, your home for truth, freedom, and good old-fashioned American common sense. If you love this country, if you believe in law and order, personal responsibility, and the Constitution, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit like, and drop a comment down below, because together, we are keeping the spirit of liberty alive. Now, today's topic, phew, we got a fiery one. Representative Rashida Tlaib. Yes, that Rashida Tlaib just went on a long rant in a congressional hearing about Washington, D.C., and I've got some thoughts. She called federal oversight of D.C. a fascist takeover. She said policing can't solve anything. And she defended D.C. from what she calls slander, while ignoring the real issues that people face every day.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Ms. Tlaib from Michigan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I think it's really important. I mean, we're talking about, 700,000 people that live here, and I feel like their voice gets completely just dismissed. And so, if I may, Mr. Chair, ask unanimous consent to enter the record. The Washington Post poll of D.C. residents found 8 out of 8 in 10 opposed Trump's taking over of their local police and sending in federal troops.
Without objection to ordered.
I think it's also really important to understand, like, the incredible kind of slanderous, like, defamation. I don't know what to call it. They're just burying Washington, D.C. You just heard them speak about our nation's capital in that way, in a way that I feel very much like that's not what I see. I see people walking around with their families, people enjoying time to see these beautiful, incredible, beautiful monuments and everything. And there's a pride here, too. And so I just want to bring the D.C. residents into this committee, because I feel like they are being made invisible. And this really ugly picture that is not reflective. And I'm from Detroit. I've seen it happen to my city. And it's despicable in a way that I feel like really goes up against our values. One of the things that I know in every abuse of power that, we let President Trump and the administration get away with in D.C., it will be replicated. It will be expanded across the country, and it is going to tear apart our communities. Mr. Jackson, I talked to you about a little bit about this, but I think it's important to understand that we do have a mental health crisis, that we have a housing crisis, affordability crisis. Can you police any of those away?
No.
You can't police away homelessness. And the way they talk about our homeless neighbors is so, no wonder there's violence increasing towards homeless neighbors. I see it already, the brutality of it. When we see housing costs go up, when we see, again, the lack or dismissiveness of the mental health crisis that we continue to grow. And it's not just this administration, and the previous administrations as well. No one has moved with the urgency that is needed. Just last week, the committee approved over a dozen bills regarding Washington, D.C. And, I'm just curious. Criminalize children. My colleague from Boston talked about this. It basically interfered with legislation already passed by the local government. Was anyone on this panel consulted? Any of you? Raise your hand if you were consulted on any of these bills. Yeah.
We were not.
One of the things that, AG, I've been listening to you. One of the bills actually eliminates your position completely. What effect would that have? Completely eliminating your position in regards to be able to do the job that you do to protecting all the families in Washington, D.C.
We'll start with the fact that more than 70% of the residents of the District of Columbia overwhelmingly voted for having an independent elected attorney general.
That's right.
And that's a recognition of the fact that when an attorney general is directly accountable to the people, directly responsive to the people, we are much better at doing our job in terms of addressing housing affordability and conditions in slumlords, seniors and consumers who are being scammed, addressing the issues that are most important to D.C. residents, because I am accountable to them.
I read wage theft is an issue, workplace discrimination. I mean, there's a number of issues that need to be addressed, and they're not going to address that. They want to paint you all as this ugly, dark, all just out in the street. I mean, the way, it's just unbelievable because they all live here. I don't see it. I don't see what they see. I don't understand why we're allowing that to happen, because I actually think it's going to hurt our communities. People are going to look at Washington, D.C. folks in a way that I think is going to be very painful, but also, you know, I don't know, Mr. Jackson, I heard the stories. People didn't leave their homes. They weren't leaving their homes. Businesses didn't see people coming into, I mean, that's what we want in our nation's capital. Stay in your house, don't move, don't go anywhere, stay fearful. It's unbelievable that my colleagues continue again to eject this narrative and this rhetoric in regards to it. But I think it's important, Mr. Chair, just like in D.C., home rule was one out of Black freedom struggle in the fight for civil rights. We can't be passive right now. So nobody over there should take anything we say like so personally as if we're attacking them. No, we're attacking a process. We're not attacking people here. And I think it's really important. We need to stand up against this fascist takeover. That's not a bad word. It's a fact. And here in D.C. and across the country, it is so incredibly important, Mr. Chair, that this committee does not allow rhetoric that defames and or paints Washington, D.C. in a way that you all haven't really truly seen. You're just reading it. No, you're just reading it or something off of some.
Will the gentlelady yield to a question?
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Will the gentlelady yield?
No, I don't yield. I don't even have time. I can tell you.
Your time's expired.
It is expired, but
Tlaib,
Mr. Chair,
nice.
but you all live
like
here,
Mr.
and
Tlaib.
you're not telling people the beautiful parts that you do see in our
Mr.
nation's
Tlaib.
capital. And no, it's just wrong how we're doing it.
Chairman, I think it's
Wrong.
insane that the
But you're gonna
gentlelady
look
doesn't
at
have an
the
argument, but she's going to
Washington, D.C. as a
refer
bunch
to
of
me and some of my
criminals.
You yield to
colleagues.
Mr.
Mr. Chair,
Donald.
We were from the
you know
Third
this.
Reich. This is
You're
insane.
gonna look at 14,
It's insane.
15-year-olds as
It's
a bunch of
insane.
criminals?
It's insane.
Oh.
No,
Do
you're
I look
not
like a
insane,
member of the Third
Donald.
Reich to you, Ms.
Please,
Tlaib?
please,
Is that what I look like to
please.
you?
You're the one taking your voting
Is that what
card,
you think?
giving it
Is that
to
what you
somebody,
think?
committing
Is that
a
what you
crime.
think?
No, that's unethical.
I think it's radical and I think it's insane. And I'll respect everything that you say. But to say something like that to myself and all of my colleagues is way out of line. It's way out of line. It's way out of line.
Regular order, Mr.
Way out of line.
Regular order.
That's okay. But it's okay, right?
That is not how it
It's
goes.
okay, right?
You hold yourself accountable before you talk about
Hold
Washington,
myself
D.C.
accountable.
Mr. Tlaib.
Washington, D.C.
Hold your
out
own
of your
self
mouth.
accountable. How
Keep
about
it out of
that?
your mouth.
Hold your own
I'm
self
trying,
accountable.
Mr.
How about
Tlaib.
that?
Free D.C. and make sure you
All right.
vote with your own voting card. Don't be giving it to somebody
Ms.
else.
Tlaib. All right, time. Chair recognizes Ms. Boebert from Colorado. Wait a minute, Ms. Boebert. All right.
Let's break this down. So right off the bat, she says 8 out of 10 D.C. residents oppose federal troops being deployed under Trump. Okay, but let's be honest. That was during riots, vandalism, and attacks on monuments. Our nation's capital was literally under siege. And who's supposed to protect the capital? The federal government. You can't complain about safety and then attack the people trying to keep order. That's not leadership. That's politics over security. Tlaib says people are painting D.C. as dangerous or ugly. Well, here's the truth. D.C. is struggling. Crime is up. Carjackings, robberies, assaults. It's not some beautiful, peaceful picture, like she claims. It's not slander when it's fact. And it's not unpatriotic to expect our nation's capital to be safe and functional. That's what taxpayers deserve. Then she says allowing Trump's actions in D.C. would tear apart communities and lead to a fascist takeover. Hold on. So enforcing the law, stopping riots, and protecting property is fascism now? That's the kind of language that cheapens real tyranny. America isn't under a fascist regime. We're under a constitution that gives both states and the federal government powers to keep order. Calling it fascism is reckless and divisive. She says you can't police away homelessness or mental health crises. And you know what? She's partially right. Those are complicated issues. But here's the thing. You also can't solve them by decriminalizing everything and tying the hands of law enforcement. When laws aren't enforced, chaos follows. Compassion doesn't mean no accountability. It means helping people while keeping communities safe. Tlaib complained that no one in D.C. government was consulted about bills passed by Congress. Well, welcome to reality. D.C. isn't a state. It's a federal district by design. Congress has constitutional oversight. That's not oppression. That's literally how the founders set it up. If D.C. wants full independence, that's a different debate. But until then, the rules are clear. Now, one of the bills apparently removes the D.C. Attorney General position. Over 70% of residents voted for that office, so I understand the local frustration. People want representation. But here's the problem. D.C. leaders have failed to protect their own city. You can't demand more autonomy while letting crime run wild. Responsibility comes before independence. Tlaib tried to compare D.C. home rule to the civil rights struggle. With all due respect, that's a stretch. Fighting racial segregation and fighting for D.C. council control are not the same moral battle. This isn't about civil rights. It's about governance and accountability. She doubles down on the fascism language. This is what's dangerous. Tossing around words like fascist to describe your political opponents. It shuts down debate, fuels anger, and makes compromise impossible. You can disagree with federal policy without demonizing everyone on the other side. By the end, all devolves into a shouting match. A Republican lawmaker calls her comments insane and radical, and honestly, who can blame him? Throwing around Nazi comparisons is way out of line in a serious policy discussion. We need grown-up conversations, not emotional outbursts. At the end of the day, this hearing shows exactly what's wrong with Washington. Too much grandstanding, not enough problem-solving. If leaders spend half as much time fixing crime and homelessness as they do pointing fingers, D.C. might actually improve. America deserves better. We need accountability, not excuses. We need strong families, strong communities, and respect for law enforcement, not this endless narrative of victimhood and outrage. So, what do you think, Patriots? Do you agree that Congress has every right to oversee D.C.? Or do you think the city should run itself, no matter how bad things get? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them. And if you love freedom, law and order, and standing up for what's right, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video so we can get the truth out there. I'm Winner, reminding you, stay informed, stay free, and God bless the United States of America.